Well, good afternoon. For this next installment of our Faculty Spotlight series, I have the privilege to be joined by a fantastic group of colleagues who attended the Online Learning Consortium's Accelerate Conference in Orlando in late November. But before we dive into the discussion, I'd like to ask everyone on the call to introduce themselves, share what role you currently serve in, and share how long you've been with the college. So, Dean Manioni, do you care to go first?
I think you're still muted, Dave.
Let me try again. Hi, I'm David Manioni. I'm the Dean of Financial Planning, and I've been at the college for 10 years now, a little over.
My name is Bethany Alden Rivers. I serve as Director for Academic Assessment, and I've been at the college since May, so not quite 1 year yet.
I'm Rebecca Henderson. I'm currently the Senior Data Analyst in the Office of Institutional Research and Effectiveness. I've been with the college for about 25 years now.
And I am Cindy Rickey. I am the chair of the Financial Literacy Department at the college. I've been with Kaplan for actually 20 years next week, but my best years, my last 5, have been with the college.
Great. Thank you all. And thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you all taking the time. So speaking specifically about our trip to Orlando and the Online Learning Consortium's conference, what takeaways do you find most important or impactful in your work at the college moving forward?
I'd be happy to start. This was the first time I had attended the OLC conference. So I was pleased to be able to do that and have that opportunity. I have a background in learning design and instructional technology, so it was nice to be back in that headspace a little bit. I did go to a session on strategic planning using design thinking, so that was a good reminder that we can use that human-centered approach to strategic planning, and just something that I filed away as something to think about. I enjoyed the sessions that were very faculty development oriented, since we are supports and resources to our faculty in many ways. And so that was really nice. But I think the thing I personally took away from it was the opportunity to think more deeply with colleagues, this group, about some of our remote proctoring challenges, student authentication challenges in our new, regulatory environment, and what we can bring back to the college to ensure that rigor is there. So we got to meet with a lot of vendors that had exciting new solutions to share with us, and it gave us a lot of food for thought for what we might need to do here to implement some of those things.
Yeah, I agree. That's kind of one of the neat things about this conference is it's specifically geared toward online learners. So there's a lot of opportunities to meet, with vendors or learn about new technologies that could benefit the college. In my role, I'm always hearing about, tell a story with the data. So learning new technologies that I can incorporate into, how do we make the data more interesting and usable?
So for me, there were several conferences over the last year that focused on AI. So that was kind of the track that I took with this particular conference as well, and learned a lot of valuable information on incorporating AI, not just in the course development and the course design, but also how to use it to engage with students. So that was very helpful for me. And I'm actually already using some of that in a course that I am updating for next year. So very good conference.
Yeah, like Cindy, I spent most of my time attending the AI sessions, and there were so many. I don't think Cindy and I were in the same one ever. There were just so many, which is funny because 2 years ago in Washington, D.C., I was there with Rebecca, I think, and there was one AI session, and now there were dozens and dozens of them. So some key takeaways for me, I talked to Aman already about creating an AI prompts library so we don't always have to keep reinventing the wheel as people are creating bots and how to do it. And so we can just go in and see how this was done and duplicate it. Another one is AI related is Sarah is creating a video, AI video for the capstone course. And those couples that she has, these avatars that she's using, I learned that you can give these avatars, these imaginary people, if you will, personas. So they can be disagreeable, they can be skeptical, they can be agreeable, they can be, affirming. You can give them kinds of personalities, and that's how they'll answer the questions, which will make those capstone interactions far more engaging and real world like than just reading a case study and answering some questions. So there's some really cool stuff that we're already starting to do. And then one I haven't started on yet, I want to see if we can figure out how to do it. We are somewhat limited in our instructional design resources here. Some of these, I'm so envious of some of the people that attend this conference that have a whole department of instructional designers to help them build courses. We do all of that ourselves. We are the instructional designers. So I'm wondering if we can't create an instructional designer bot and use AI to help us when we're doing our course design and course revisions, to take some of the workload off of faculty if this bot could do it. So all kinds of cool AI stuff came out of that. And then one of the vendors I really liked, I always like to do that too, like Rebecca, and we talked to one on, it's called Vivox. And if you've ever been at a conference and they put a QR code up on the screen and you take a picture of it with your phone and then you can answer questions and participate in polls, I want to see if we can't use that for our ethics CE courses. So I think, and it's very reasonably priced, and I'm working on that as well. And then Bethany can talk about BioSig ID too. So we had some good conversations with vendors while we were there as well. It's a great conference.
Great. Cindy, you spoke to this a little. David, you did as well. But my next question, what do you plan on implementing because of this professional development experience? Anybody care to weigh in on that?
So I'm really excited because I'm actually working on this today. What I did was, and we all have our self-study videos, our on-demand videos in our classes for our designations, and as well as CFP. So I attended a couple of sessions on how to use AI or Chat GPT or some form of Chat GPT to actually either write scripts for the videos or enhance the scripts. For me, it was enhancing the script. So I had scripts for my intro videos to each of my modules for the FPQP course. And they were just kind of all started to sound the same. It sounded like Cindy, 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 and Cindy was on the screen and Cindy was doing, it was a Cindy show, and it shouldn't be that way. It wasn't super engaging. Over the years, I just kind of kept doing the same thing. So I took my script, I put it in Chat GPT. I said, refine this and make it more detailed and write it into a script. And it actually did that. So now I have this wonderful script that I'm reviewing for each of the modules. And I'm going to have to customize it a little bit more, but then I can turn that over to our video team to actually start to work on much more engaging videos that I don't have to be a big part of anymore in front of a camera in a studio, but I take kind of a back seat. I'm on the camera a little bit, but then they use that script to actually incorporate videos and graphics and infographics and all kinds of interesting media. And it takes a lot off of my plate where I can sit back and do the more creative stuff that I like to do and not the technical nuts and bolts. So that was a big takeaway for me.
Yeah, I like that. That's a lot of work the first time, but subsequent years, it'll be so much easier.
Yep.
I think a takeaway that I plan to implement, just in terms of the proposal, I'm working with David and Rebecca on kind of making a case for bringing back some remote proctoring tools. For a variety of reasons. We are asked by our regulators to authenticate and verify the student taking the exam is the student. So that's one reason we don't really have a process yet in place to do that systematically. Another is that we want to, provide an environment for the student where academic integrity really isn't a question. You know, they have everything they need to do well and to show that it's them and their work and their learning that they're demonstrating. So because of those things happening, we visited a few vendor booths to talk about different solutions, and I went to a session that was hosted by one of the vendors called BioSig. And so we're really looking into that solution and hopefully we'll be able to pitch it as an idea and get support for bringing that into play in the college. But what I liked about it, and I think what David and Rebecca also liked, is it wasn't overly intrusive. It's really just verifying that the student is the student through a unique signature that they do and they set before they even go into the learning experience. And then it also had some really nice features too, where it doesn't show us their face, but it does take a video of the environment they're in. So we can see if there are other people in the environment or if there are really weird behaviors happening in the environment without really violating the space of the student. And so I think for all of those reasons and the affordability so far that we can see in that might be a really nice thing for us to consider. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. How do you see this positively impacting the student learning experience and potentially contributing to growing the college learning community as a whole?
Well, I'll jump on that one. Anything we can do to make our videos more engaging, or any parts of our courses for that matter, more engaging, I think is going to improve the student learning experience. And then I've also heard from some students that they don't like that their final exams are not proctored. They want that accountability because they want their designation, in particular, their designation to mean something. And I think this BioSig ID process, if we can get that in place, will go a long way towards building greater confidence in our courses along the way. So if we can make our courses engaging and meaningful, that's all going to help the student learning experience.
I'm just working on better ways to get student feedback out to the faculty and people who are making these updates to courses, so they don't have to, read through pages and pages of comments, just trying to get what are the key takeaways that we tend to find in the feedback, and how can we use that to improve our courses.
Great. Thank you so much. Next is a two-part question. First, how can others benefit from comparable professional development opportunities moving forward? And the second part, would you recommend participating in future OLC conferences to your colleagues?
So first of all, I would say that attending OLC is, you probably gain a lot of what you would gain from any conference. You are not only talking to colleagues from other institutions that are going through a lot of what you're going through, but we really have a lot of opportunity to bond as faculty for the college. So we have time to have face-to-face time. It's in a more social environment. We bounce ideas around. I think I got as many ideas as talking to the people you see here as I did talking to colleagues from other universities and colleges. That's number one. But OLC, as David said, is huge. It's probably the conference that has more sessions than anything else. And at first it's very overwhelming, but I think we did a good job of developing a strategy of who was going where. And then we would reconnect at the end of the day to talk about, what we heard and what ideas and so forth. And that was very helpful. But the more people we have attending OLC in particular, the more we can spread out and take advantage of all of those sessions. And then, come back and share our ideas and take advantage of those. It's just impossible with the time we have to. I was frustrated because I wanted to attend so many and I didn't have the opportunity to do that. So this one in particular, I think, is where the numbers of attendees really matters for us as an institution.
I agree. I think there's something so valuable in a group of us going together, even if we're not in the same sessions, we've experienced the same kind of vibe in the environment. And ultimately, we do these things to join the national conversation on whatever the topics are. I really like the keynotes because to me, that gives us that high level view of some of these big themes. One that we went to was AI and teaching. And it was the speaker was the co-author of a book that we're all reading too. So that was a really nice connection, and it helped validate like, okay, internally we're doing a lot of the development we need to do to be kind of in step with the sector. So I think that's valuable as well. And then just having lovely meals together and dinners, thanks to David, is also so valuable because it helps us bond as a group, and that's particularly important when we don't get to see each other in person every day.
Great. Thank you so much.
Oh, I just want to chime in with those two and just agree. I think, I kind of play the role of social director at these things. And like Cindy said, you get as much out of those meetings, when everybody's talking about what they heard that day, because like Cindy said, you can't attend them all. And sometimes you hear something that someone else went to and you're like, oh, that works with what I heard today. And you get a lot of synergy from each other as well as from the things you hear. Plus, this conference isn't just for faculty. This is one that obviously Jeff and Rebecca and Bethany went to and got a lot out of as well. But people like Spencer and Merlin and other folks, I know they went to the OLC conference in the spring that was in Denver. And there's stuff for them too. I mean, there's all kind of people are talking about enrollment, retention, all different aspects of what it takes to run an online institution. And so this is one of those conferences I think every single faculty member should attend one at least once a year, just because one, it gets you out of your routine. Two, you get together with your peers you don't see that often. And three, you're going to see other people from other institutions who are doing crazy, amazing, exciting things, and all the best ideas are stolen. So it's a target-rich environment to steal great ideas.
Yeah, I agree. Any other advice for your colleagues as they plan their own professional development for the rest of the year?
I pretty much just said my piece, so I'll let the others speak.
I don't have anything specific, but I think planning your professional development is really important, that you get ahead of that and you can align some of these events with your own professional goals. I think that's really nice too. And like David said, having something like this that is nationally kind of scoped and recognized lets you interact with a lot of vendors and presenters and colleagues from other institutions as well as your own, can be really meaningful.
Yeah, I agree that this is nice because you do see, what are the, other online providers and what are they doing? And, often we see that, oh, we're kind of ahead of the game in the online field where, oh, yes, we're doing that already. So it's kind of nice to get that validation of sometimes we feel like we're lagging, but, often we're kind of ahead of where other institutions are.
And I guess I would agree with everyone here and also say that this is a conference where you don't have to try to figure out, well, how will I do that for the college? Because we're really predominantly online and you have to try to translate, some of the brick and mortar ideas into that. This is all online. So it suits us really well. And any idea you hear here can be implemented, has the possibility of being implemented at the college. So this one in particular, again, I think would be extremely valuable as you're planning out the rest of your year. There'll be one in the spring of this year and then another one in the fall. And the spring is virtual, I believe. I don't know if they have a on-ground option for that one, but
no, it's going to be 100% virtual. Innovate in the 1st of April.
So before we close, anybody have any last thoughts?
Well, if I can pick up on the Innovate thing, it's April 1 through 4. Am I doing that? You can look it up online, but yeah, it's 1 through 3. Yeah. So and it's all virtual this time around. I think honestly what happened was they were struggling to find a location that would work for them. And that's when I talked to the staff in Orlando. And but that's okay. It can be done all virtually. We'll just miss out on those rapid fire sessions that Jeff and I like to go to. But there are so many other good things they'll have it. You're going to have trouble picking which sessions you want to go to because they'll only be offered once during a time slot, and you'll have 2 or 3 you want to go to. So I encourage you, if you to get with Tisha and let her know your interest in going to the Innovate conference virtually, because we get a significant discount when we have 5, 10, 15 cent increments of 5 group discount for registration.
Yep, I know Tisha's started that list. And so if you're interested, please communicate with her. Everybody, I greatly appreciate your time this morning. It was lovely seeing you in Orlando. It's been lovely seeing you again here. So thank you so much for the time. I greatly appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for putting this together, Jeff.